How to solve conflicts in the relationships. Disagreements and fights are an inevitable part in any romantic relationship. When couples spend a lot of time together, with their lives intertwined, they are bound to disagree issues. These can be trivial or big, ranging from what to eat in the day or failing to complete a house chore. The mere fact that you fight with your partner isn't a sign there is real trouble in your relationship. Fighting can actually improve your relationship when handled properly. Couples who never fight and never talk about their problems, never solve them. You can gain a better understanding of your love partner and arrive at a solution that works for both of you when you deal with conflicts constructively. On the other hand, it is also possible for conflicts to go out of hand and create ill will without resolving anything. The way you deal with an issue with your partner can determine if your relationship is healthy or unhealthy. So in this video I have selected some 10 research-backed tips to keep in mind in order to handle your next argument in a healthy way. 1. Be straightforward. Sometimes people don't just come out and plainly state what is bothering them, and instead choose more indirect ways of expressing their displeasure. One partner may speak to the other in a way that is condescending and implies underlying hostility. Partners may also simply avoid discussing a problem by quickly switching topics when the issue comes up or by being evasive. Such indirect ways of expressing anger are not constructive, because they don't give the person who is the target of the behaviors a clear idea of how to respond. You know your partner is irritated, but the lack of directness leaves him or her without guidance about what he or she can do to solve the problem. Expressing your thoughts and feelings clearly and directly, without sugarcoating or avoiding the issue helps in most cases to resolve the issue at hand. Some ways to be straightforward in a conflict include using I statements. Instead of accusing or blaming your partner, use I statements to express how you feel. For example, I feel hurt when you do X instead of you always do X. Speak honestly, share your thoughts and feelings honestly, even if they're difficult to express. Listen actively, be open to hearing your partner's perspective and try to understand their point of view. 2. Talk about how you feel without blaming your partner. When discussing conflicts in a relationship, it's important to express how you feel without blaming your partner. Blaming can make the other person defensive and less likely to listen to your perspective. Instead, you can use I statements to express your feelings and take responsibility for your own emotions. Examples of I statements are: I feel hurt when you cancel our plans at the last minute. I feel frustrated when we don't seem to be on the same page about X. I feel upset when you don't include me in decision making about Y. It's important to express how you feel without attacking your partner's character. Saying things like you always do this or you're so thoughtless can make the other person defensive and less likely to listen to your perspective. By expressing how you feel, you are giving your partner insight into your perspective and inviting them to understand your point of view. This will create a more open and productive conversation, and it will be more likely that you can find a solution to the conflict. Statements that directly assault your partner's character can be especially damaging to a relationship. If a man frustrated by his girlfriend's jealousy says you're totally irrational, he is inviting her to become defensive, and this can shut down further conversation. Research has shown that a more constructive strategy is to use the I statements and pair them with behavior descriptions. For example, this man might say, I get irritated when you claim I'm flirting with someone during an innocent conversation. These tactics are direct, but don't impugn your partner's character. 3. Never say never, or always. When discussing conflicts in a relationship, it's important to avoid using absolutes such as never or always. These types of statements can be perceived as exaggerations or accusations and can make the other person feel attacked or defensive. Instead, focus on specific instances or behaviors that are causing the problem. Here are some examples of specific statements. I felt hurt when you canceled our plans last night. I've noticed that we haven't been spending as much time together lately. I would appreciate it if we could talk about important decisions before making them. By avoiding absolutes and focusing on specific instances, you are more likely to have a productive conversation and find a solution to the conflict. It also shows that you're not attacking the person but the behavior, and it helps in maintaining a healthy relationship. Additionally, it is important to be specific in identifying the behavior. This will help to avoid confusion, and the other person will be able to understand the situation better. 4. Pick your battles. Picking your battles means being selective about which conflicts or disagreements you choose to address in a relationship. It's important to consider the importance of the issue and the potential outcome of the conflict before deciding whether to address it. It's important to stick to one issue at a time, if you intend to have a constructive discussion. Unhappy couples are likely to drag multiple topics into one discussion, a habit renowned conflict researcher John Gottman calls kitchen sinking. This refers to the old expression everything but the kitchen sink, which implies that every possible thing has been included. When you want to solve personal problems, this is probably not the strategy you take with yourself. Here are some things to consider when deciding whether to pick your battle. The importance of the issue. Is the issue something that is important to you and will have a significant impact on your relationship if left unresolved? The potential outcome. Is the potential outcome of addressing the issue worth the potential negative consequences? The timing. Is this the right time to address the issue? Are you and your partner both in a calm and receptive state? The relationship. Consider the overall state of your relationship. If the relationship is already strained, it may be best to wait to address the issue until things have improved. By considering these factors, you can choose to focus on the issues that are most important and have the potential to improve the relationship, rather than getting bogged down in minor disagreements or conflicts. It can also help maintain a positive atmosphere in the relationship and avoid unnecessary fights. 5. Really listen to your partner. Listening to your partner is an important part of resolving conflicts and building a strong relationship. Active listening involves paying attention to what your partner is saying, understanding their perspective, and responding in a way that shows you value their thoughts and feelings. Some tips for actively listening to your partner include: giving your full attention. Put away distractions, such as your phone or laptop, and focus on what your partner is saying. It can be very frustrating to feel like your partner is not paying attention to you. When you interrupt your partner or assume that you know what they're thinking, you're not giving them a chance to express themselves. Even if you are confident that you know where your partner is coming from or know what they're going to say, you could still be wrong, and your partner will still feel like you're not listening. Asking questions. Show that you're interested in what your partner has to say by asking questions to clarify their perspective. Repeating back what you heard. Paraphrase what your partner said to show that you understand and to avoid misunderstandings. That is, rephrase it in your own words. This can prevent misunderstandings before they start. Validating your feelings. Acknowledge and accept your partner's feelings, even if you don't agree with them. Avoiding interrupting. Let your partner finish speaking before you respond. Active listening is an important skill in any relationship. It can help to create a deeper understanding and connection between partners, as well as reduce misunderstandings and conflicts. It also shows that you respect and care about your partner's thoughts and feelings, which is essential for building trust and intimacy. 6. Don't automatically object to your partner's complaints. When you're criticized, it can be natural to react defensively and automatically object to what he or she is saying. But defensiveness doesn't solve problems. Try always not to take the complaint personally, and avoid becoming defensive or blaming your partner. Imagine a husband and wife arguing because the wife wants her husband to do more house chores. When she suggests that he do a quick cleanup after he gets ready to leave in the morning, he replies, "Yes, that would help, but I really don't have time in the morning." When she suggests that he set aside some time on the weekend, he says, "Yes, that could be a way to schedule it in, but we usually have plans on weekends, and I have work to catch up on, so that won't work." This yes-butting behavior suggests that her ideas and views are not worthwhile. Another destructive, defensive behavior is cross-complaining, when you respond to your partner's complaint with one of your own. For example, responding to "you don't clean up enough around the house" with "you're a neat freak." It's important to hear your partner out and really consider what they're saying. 7. Take a different perspective. Taking a different perspective in a conflict means looking at the situation from your partner's point of view and trying to understand where he or she is coming from. This can help you to find common ground, compromise, and ultimately resolve the conflict. By taking a different perspective, you are showing that you are willing to understand and respect your partner's point of view, which can help to improve communication and reduce conflicts. It also helps to show empathy and understanding, which are essential for maintaining healthy relationships. 8. Do not show contempt for your partner. Showing contempt for your partner can be one of the most damaging behaviors in a relationship. Contempt is characterized by attitudes and behaviors that communicate disgust, disrespect, and a lack of empathy for your partner. Some examples of contemptuous behaviors include name-calling, sarcasm, eye-rolling, and hostile body language. Showing contempt for your partner can create a negative and hostile environment in the relationship, and can make it difficult to resolve conflicts and build a strong connection. It can also lead to feelings of insecurity, low self-esteem, and emotional distance. Of all of the negative things you can do and say during a conflict, the worst may be contempt. It is shown to be the top predictor of divorce. Imagine that your wife says, "I wish you took me out more," and you respond, "Oh yes, the most important thing is to see and be seen and overpay for tiny portions of food at some rip-off restaurant. Could you be more superficial?" Or your partner tells you she feels too tired to clean up, and you respond, "I'm sure you're so exhausted after a long day of chatting at the water cooler. I've been busting my butt all day," and you just get home and sprawl out on the couch, staring at your smartphone like a teenager. This kind of contempt makes it impossible to engage in a real discussion and is likely to elicit anger from your partner, rather than an attempt to solve the problem. It's important to remember that relationships are built on mutual respect and empathy, and showing contempt can damage the foundation of trust and love. By avoiding contemptuous behavior, you can create a more positive and supportive environment in your relationship, which can help to resolve conflicts and build a stronger connection with your partner. 9. Don't get overwhelmed with negativity. It's normal to experience negative emotions in a relationship, especially when conflicts arise. However, getting overwhelmed with negativity can make it difficult to resolve conflicts and can damage the relationship. When couples engage in negative affect reciprocity, a phenomenon where one person's negative behavior or emotions lead to the other person responding with similar negative behavior or emotions, they trade more and more heated insults and contemptuous remarks. And as the conflict goes on, the negativity escalates. So how much is too much negativity? Research shows the magic number is a 5-to-1 ratio, that is, couples that maintained a ratio of 5 positive behaviors, for example, attempts at good-natured humor, warmth, collaboration, to each negative behavior are significantly less likely to get divorced or separated. 10. Know when it's time for a timeout. A timeout is a period of time during which you and your partner temporarily separate from each other in order to cool down and regain perspective. It can be an effective tool for resolving conflicts and preventing them from escalating. Some signs that it may be time for a timeout are: the conversation is becoming heated or emotional. If you or your partner are becoming increasingly upset or angry, it may be best to take a break and come back to the conversation when you're both feeling calmer. You're not making progress. If the conversation is becoming unproductive and you're not making progress towards a solution, it may be helpful to take a break and come back to the discussion later. You're not getting anywhere. If you're going around in circles and not getting anywhere in the conversation, it's a good idea to take a break. It's important to establish clear boundaries and guidelines for taking a timeout, such as agreeing on a specific time to reconvene and discussing how long the timeout should last. It's also essential to use this time to cool off and reflect on the situation rather than to avoid the conversation altogether. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments if you learned something new from this video. And please remember to check out our other videos on Love Paradise.